Is it okay to live together if they're not having sex?
Is there such thing as the one?
How far is too far? How to stay married after one cheated?
How do you overcome a broken heart?
Do you wait on God or start shooting your shot?
Single mom with 3 kids who wants to date her. It's hard for a pimp out here.
What is up?
What's up,
Welcome
everybody?
to the Uncomplicated podcast.
Episode 6.
Episode 6.
We said we'd do 12.
Yes, so we're halfway there.
But we had to do a part 2 on dating because we got a lot of questions
So
about
many
dating,
questions came in.
marriage. Want to shout out to the team for filtering these, writing some good ones. And we got a special guest with us. We got my guy Carlos on the mic in the background. You don't know Carlos. This is Carlos's mics, actually. This is his equipment. So can you say what's up?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey, can you Google some and do some fact checking for us if we need this?
I got you.
Awesome.
Nice.
My guy Carlos is a Berkeley graduate.
Yes, he is.
One of the smartest guys I know.
Mm-hmm.
Grateful for his friendship, partnership, and anything else we needed to get to?
Why don't you subscribe while we're in this moment?
The other platforms are up.
Yes.
Right?
Other platforms are up.
Is that right, Carlos?
Yeah, we're up on Spotify, Apple Podcast, believe probably Google Podcast, Podbean. And
Yeah, we're everywhere now, guys.
I don't think we can get to all these, but let's give it a shot.
We're going to go speed round here.
Mix it up?
Mix it up.
All right,
All
mix it
right,
up.
here
Let's
we go.
Let's go.
Right out the gate, purity and dating. How far is too far?
All right, so we are talking to a mixed group right now. We're talking to people who were just searching on YouTube, probably something like, how do I date and make it last?
Yeah.
Or
Successful dating.
Yeah, something like that. And we're probably talking to some people that are trying to do things God's way. Maybe maybe you tried to do things your way and it didn't work out. And if you're anything like me, when I was 20 years old, I was like, okay, guess who is screwing up his life? This guy. I need to figure out. And I began to follow Jesus and have never regretted a day of that. And so grateful for the guidance he's given me through the Bible. Dating, not in the Bible though.
Not in the Bible.
Because
not
what's in
once.
the Bible is arranged marriages. Because
Right.
that's how the world has mostly functioned up until the last couple hundred years.
Right.
And even to this day, the most successful marriages statistically are still arranged marriages.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the question? How far is too far?
How far is too far? They're talking about purity and dating.
All right. Is it a guy or a girl asking?
Let's just go ahead and imagine it's a girl.
All right, it's a girl. A girl's asking how far is too far. Now, I want you to imagine having kids.
Okay.
You're a mom.
Yep.
You're a dad. You're talking to someone about your daughter or about your son. How much hands do you want on them? How much saliva? How much is going on here? I know it's gross. I'm sorry. But now that I'm a dad, I have a 12-year-old,
Yeah.
you know, and you also have a 12-year-old.
I do.
Yeah, we have a 12, 7, and
6.
6. And these are the conversations you're beginning having because when I was in junior high, how far is too far?
Where's the line?
Yeah.
That was the question.
Hey, you know what happened that drew a line for all of us, though? Was Bill Clinton.
Yep. Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back then, I hope this is not too crude, but I hope there's a lot of sex questions in there because this is the kind of stuff that we should talk about, right? This is real life.
Yep.
You know, Bill Clinton said, I did not have sexual relations with this woman,
Right.
but then later admitted that he had oral sex.
Right.
And so now my generation's going, wait a minute, oral sex isn't considered sex?
Right.
So the
Move the
question
line.
is, how far is too far? You got what the president says, and then you got, you know, what godly wisdom would be. One word that's used often is the word purity. Not crazy about that word, but I do think the idea of having something that is in reserve for the one person you choose to give to is a beautiful, incredible idea that God came up with.
Yeah.
What do you think about, you know, I don't want to say like someone who's not a virgin is no longer pure,
Right.
but I do think that what we're saying here is you're going to set up a boundary or a line and you're going to make that decision while there's still blood in your brain and not when your hormones are raging and the blood is leaving your brain and going to
Sure.
other parts of your body. I'm not going to get too graphic, but you got to think about that before. Where's that line or that boundary is going to be? How far is too far going to be? I know what I would tell my daughter. I know what I tell my son. What do you think, babe?
I'd probably tell them the exact same thing. How far is too far? I think maybe
If you're a Christian,
the answer, if you're a believer in Jesus,
Yeah.
Is you're asking the wrong question.
okay.
Like maybe
Talk to me about
this is, I mean, how far is too far? Everyone wants to know that because I think in our sincerity, we want to honor God. And like, how close can we get to that line so we can still honor God? So
Yeah.
the heart of the question is awesome, right? Like I want to honor God. And so just tell me how close I can get to that line so
Yeah.
I'm still honoring God.
Yeah.
How far is too far? I mean, I want people to protect their hearts, protect relationships. As soon as you get physical, it all changes. Everything changes. Your
Yeah.
emotions change. Your brain, like everything's changing.
Insecurity comes out.
Everything happens. So
Yeah.
like, I would say
Changes
like
it.
maybe you change the question to like, how can I push the line? How can I get as far away from the line as
Really?
possible?
You're so mature.
I don't know. I mean,
You're mature.
thanks.
Look, I mean, think about this. The person who's asking this question, like you said, let me see those cards. They want to do it right,
yeah.
but you know, if you ask Jesus, what's he going to say?
Right.
I mean, didn't Jesus say something along the lines of, if your eye causes you to stumble, pluck that sucker out?
Pull
Because
it
wouldn't
out.
you rather know heaven and have one eye? Wouldn't you rather be a pirate in heaven?
Right.
Then, you know, didn't he say if your hand causes you to stumble, cut it off, you know,
Yeah.
better to go into heaven with one. Now, that's
See, Jesus
hyperbole.
doesn't talk about dating, but he does talk about lust.
Right. Is it the point?
Yeah.
Is he joking when he says that? Does he really
It's
think you should do that?
hyperbole, yes.
Yeah. No, he's a rabbi. He's speaking in a language to make a point. But at the end of the day, the point is what? Lust.
Lust.
Yeah.
Stay away
Lust
from-
is gonna complicate things for your relationship. So
It's
if
gonna
you-
rob too your
you won't-
relationship of deeper and I think more beautiful things later down the line. So
if you're a dude and you can really keep your hands to yourself because you love God so much and you love her so much, you're a powerful dude. You're powerful, man. You got that kind of self-control. I mean, that's the kind of guy I want to date my daughter. I think
Mhm.
that's the kind of person you want to be. You want to be the guy who's got control over his lust. If you can't keep your hands to yourself and you're giving in to lust and stuff like that, man, dude, that's the vision that I have for my life. I want nothing to be a master over me,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
So, anyways,
How far is too far? Maybe start asking a different question.
next question.
How can I get
That's the
far
old one. All
on the
right.
line? Yes. I'll
Mixing
put it
these
over
up,
here.
mixing these up.
All right, here we go. And what's it like dating? What's it like dating in the church environment? How do you go about it?
Nice.
How do you date in church?
Well, should somebody, let's pretend they didn't even hear the last podcast.
Okay.
All right. So we have a part 1 to this.
Yep.
And we talked about kind of like what it's like to date in church a little bit. But let's answer it again.
Okay.
Should people go to church to find a date?
100%.
Yeah. Dude, why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
I couldn't
don't
think
wanna-
of a better place to find someone.
I don't want a bunch of wolves circling the pack. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a young adults service, you know what I mean? I can spot those wolves quick.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, dude, where else are you going to meet somebody, man? You're going to meet them in a bar, you're going to meet them in a club, where are you going to meet somebody? You know, at work, you got to put yourself around some. If you feel like you're in a healthy place
Yeah.
to want to date, which we talked about in the last podcast, it's a practicing to get married,
Mhm.
you know, then you want to be around other people in the same place.
Yeah. Go up to him in church. Be like, is this seat by you taken? Can I stay here?
What's up? Say, hey,
What team do you serve on?
something's missing in my Bible. I see the book of Numbers, but I don't see yours.
Oh
my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
So
Justice.
yeah, you don't want to go hunting down. You know what I mean? But
Right.
no church is going to let you get away with that because churches are
Well,
full
our
of
church,
like
you certainly.
Our church is full of-
certainly. I can't certainly. Certainly.
our church is full of big brothers, man.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna let you get away with that. But the truth is, you know, you want to be around the kind of people who are going the same direction in life as you. So
Absolutely.
I think it's good.
Okay.
What's
here
it
we
like
go.
dating in church? You can date one person in church because after that you can't.
Well,
You
it
date too many people in
depends-
church, you get a reputation quick.
It depends on the size of your church and how many
Yeah.
locations your church has.
Yeah.
How many campuses they have. All right, here we go. What do you think when people say,
Before we do that one though,
oh, okay.
paint me a little bit more picture of what it. This is sincerely someone asking. How do I
Yeah.
date in church? What are the top 3 things you think? What would you want to see from somebody? They're like, Pastor Maria, you know what? I'm single. I got a job. I'm in a place where I want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do this wrong and get a bad reputation around here. But at the same time, like I'm thinking about asking some people out on some dates, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I normally ask a person because I don't know everyone personally, but I ask them about like that person's love for God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ask them, do they have good character?
Mm-hmm.
Are they under authority? Like, do they have people that are speaking into their life that they welcome those voices?
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know if this is too cliche to say, but like keep it in the friend zone. Get to know people on a friendship level without taking it romantic, because if you don't get to know them and you go romantic, you might be like, oops, this isn't the person I thought they were.
And what if you go on some dates, but nothing, there's no crazy romance. It's like, no harm, no foul.
Like, hey, what's
no
up?
Hearts got hurt. You know
High
what I mean?
five, and they can be friends and be in the same community, and it's not awkward. It's as soon as it gets physical that kind of ruins all of that.
Get on the worship team with other people who are musicians.
Yeah.
Go serve in the kids department. Man, 1 hour a week, you're serving, taking care of kids.
Okay, dudes, I'm going to give you, take notes right now.
All right.
You want to, show a girl how much you love Jesus, go serve in the kids department, because that will melt their hearts. Okay,
you're just in the you're just
like carrying
with
babies.
A baby. Oh, hey, girl.
Like everyone's gonna be asking for your number. Okay,
just. And you know what, girls? All the people who serve in the kids department are background checked. So at least you know.
At least you know they're not a criminal.
There you go.
And they like children. All right.
Next one.
Okay, here we go. Is it possible to date someone who used to follow Jesus but walked away?
Nothing's impossible with God.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't try to save anybody if I were you. That's God's job. So you got to take the pressure off yourself too. Like even with like kids, I think sometimes their parents aren't Christians and stuff. It's like, I'm going to lead my parents to Christ. It's like, you know what? That's kind of challenging sometimes, because the natural order of things is that you're their son or your daughter, you know? And the same thing with like somebody who you dated, like, you know, there's a dynamic there in the relationship where all the pressure doesn't need to be on you.
Right.
You know, if you're with somebody who's not following Jesus anymore, you know, and you guys are going different directions in your life, because that's what our faith is. It's a direction. We're moving toward, you know, more of God for our life. And so if you're not in the same direction as somebody, you can't pull somebody with you, you know?
Right.
And I wouldn't feel that pressure.
Yeah. And I don't know if this question is someone that is dating someone already existing that walked away from Jesus, or they are going to start dating someone that walked away from Jesus. But I would say, like you said, both, you can't save them.
Yeah.
Like Jesus saves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Take the pressure off yourself with that.
Cool.
Because sometimes it's like, oh, I'm the only one that they'll listen to. No, you're not.
Right.
There's other people. All right. Next one.
What do you think when people say, God told me you're the one, or you're my soulmate?
Yeah, I don't, you know, that's a really specific thing that I think people who go to church have heard. Like, I don't even know.
They pull the God card.
Yeah.
God told me we're supposed to get married.
I'm pretty resistant to the God card.
Honestly,
anytime
that's
somebody
kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if God really spoke that to me, he would also speak it to them.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be like, hey, God told me this about your life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If someone told you that, especially if you're not dating, just run the other way. But
yeah.
And I think if you're a believer and you're watching this, like, don't pull the God card.
If God does tell you, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't
he'll
tell
them.
Yeah.
He told you.
Why do you got to tell him then?
That's weird.
Yeah. Anytime someone tells me, hey, I heard from God for you, I always think to myself, well, why couldn't God just tell me myself?
Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes God has spoken to me, and what they say
Absolutely.
is kind of helping me more. They're confirming. They're making me feel more confident that I
Yeah.
did hear from God.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, I have a relationship with God. You have a relationship with God. We can hear from him. We don't need people bossing us around, telling us what to do, especially if we're not feeling it. Like, okay, if he says so,
Yeah.
right? So you're kind of, I don't really see myself attracted to you, but since God said so.
God said so, let's walk down the aisle together. Yeah.
Next question.
Okay, here we go. When should married couples move out from their parents' home, or should they save money?
I don't know
or
the answer
move
to
out
that.
and rent?
How could you answer that question? I don't know.
There's a lot of factors behind this question. Listen to the Holy Spirit.
The
Do what
question
God
is,
tells
should I
you.
live with my parents and save some money? Like, look, here's the thing. People don't realize how spiritual money is.
Yeah.
So, like,
Good
there was a
point.
time in our relationship where I went into ministry as a pastor, and I walked away from a job in advertising and marketing and making more money. And then I started working in ministry, and I was actually working another job too at the same time. Right. But both of those incomes were less than your one income that you were making. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think you went into that, possibly, you could speak to this better, but thinking that wasn't going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But you speak to that. I mean, there's a dynamic there with expectations, I think, with money and saving money that people miss.
Yeah. I remember when that was happening, and it was bizarre because we're partners. We're in this together. We're like shoulder to shoulder going through life. And it was surprising to me that after a couple of months of me kind of, I don't want to say being the breadwinner, but bringing in more to our income and our household, that I started feeling like this weird pressure that didn't feel like it was in order. I don't know if that makes sense. Is there a different way you could say that?
I'll throw this word out there. You tell me, did you resent a little bit that you were making more money than me?
I think the emotions got to that because of the like pressure I was feeling that I don't think I was meant to carry. Mm-hmm. And I would have never dreamt that or thought I could ever feel that, because I had no problem. Like, great, one of us makes more. We're a team. High five. Right. Like, this is our money. We put it all together. You know what I mean? Like, we were so one. So I didn't think that it should have ever bothered me. But all of a sudden I felt this like, I just don't feel like it was a pressure that I was supposed to carry.
And I don't think there's an answer to should guys make more money to girls or girls and husbands. Like, I don't think that's the question we're trying to answer.
Right.
I think it's more about like expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
So here you are, and you're living at home. Like maybe you and your husband are now living at home with his parents, mm-hmm. right? Or and you're trying to save some money, and on paper that's a good strategy.
Right.
There might come a day though where you're like, dude, this guy's not taking care of me, and when are we going to get our own place? And he's spending money on his, PlayStation 5 instead of saving it for a down payment on a house or whatever it is. And that expectation has to be super clear, because that short season where you did make more money than me, I realized, okay, well, we need to flip this back around, because I don't want you to feel like you got to take care of me.
Yeah.
And that was the way that you, in some ways, had been conditioned in the way that you thought, and I think a lot of people are that way, where it's like, the
I don't even know if I was conditioned. It was just this thing I felt. And I think if you're asking this question, you're probably having some feelings you're trying to sort out. And I would just say, be honest and have a real conversation with your spouse about how you're feeling. Like, talk. You may not even know. And you're like, you're looking for counsel. You're asking us. Yeah, you're looking for counsel.
Probably not feeling it right now. You're like, how long is this going to go on? So make a plan to get to a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have the plan of how to get the house, but you can make the plan to get the down payment. But maybe you're in debt. So maybe the plan is to get out of debt in 12 months. Mm-hmm. Then that plan is to save the money for the down payment.
Right.
Then and so you got to make a plan to get to the plan. And then if you're not sticking to the plan, or you guys are both compromising because you don't have that stewardship, muscle built up, because that's what it is. You can be real in that conversation, but I would say make a plan, about that, because at the end of the day, like, there are expectations in relationships, and they're not always right, or it's not even about being right. It's just the reality that you didn't like that arrangement. Mm-hmm. I sensed that we had to make a switch. Yeah. It wasn't that I wasn't working hard. I was working two jobs, but like, dude,
and it wasn't that I wasn't grateful either for the hard work that you were putting in, but we felt we were in a place, the reality set in, and we pivoted and we shifted. And so have a conversation, how you're feeling, how it's going.
You thought you wanted to go back to work after having a kid. After we had our first kid, after like 6 weeks of work, you're like, you know what? I think I want to dedicate all this time to taking care of my kid. And then so I upped it up again and got another job. And blah, blah, blah.
There's different personalities. I mean, different situations work. You and I
didn't resent you because you didn't want to go to work.
I would much rather rent than ever live with either of our parents. And we've got phenomenal parents. It just, you know what I mean? So just have real conversation.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. Yeah. Next question about dating, marriage, intimacy. What did you do with the false ones? You put the used ones over there?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right. Same sex relationship.
I don't know if I should answer that right now or wait till we have a guest that I'm thinking about bringing on. I've been talking to a friend of mine Let's wait on that one.
Yep.
Let's wait. I would rather answer that question well and not blow that question off.
Right. That's a big one. And so we will.
And we're getting a lot of that question too.
Next week.
So hopefully we'll have that next week. We'll have a guest and we can talk about that because
but we'll get back to
that question deserves more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. We don't want to fire past
how do you overcome a broken heart? How many people are asking this question right
every
now?
Single person on YouTube, I'm
This is a good one, man. Have you ever had a broken heart?
I have. Have you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Awful.
The worst.
Awful. Nothing's impossible with God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were just friends, and you and I were kind of secretly into each other. We talked about that in the podcast last time.
Yeah.
But my heart had been ravaged.
Yeah.
Your heart had been beat up. So we were both kind of like guarding our heart.
Yep.
Proverbs 4 says, guard your heart, for it's the wellspring of life.
Yep.
So I just started following Jesus. I was trying to guard my heart. You'd kind of sworn off dating. You're like, I'm just going to take a break until God brings someone into my life if that's what he wants.
Yep.
But that didn't stop us from being good friends.
Yeah.
Going to salsa dancing nights together. What's up? What's up?
About that.
Yeah. A little salsa queen over here. Didn't stop us from going to hanging out on Valentine's Day unromantically.
Oh, yeah. We were buddies.
Yeah. It's good to have good friends. But one day we were in the car and I think you were dropping me off back at school where I lived or whatever. And I said, remember this?
Yeah.
What did I say?
You're like, my heart is not capable of ever loving again.
Ugh.
Yeah. I think we just like went to the movies and we saw some like romantic comedy or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's done. Never. It's not possible. Like my heart literally cannot love again. And I remember like just being so sad for you. Like that was like, there was so much
you told
despair.
me you cried.
Yeah. And it was like a weird thing because I wasn't like, oh, he's never going to love me. Like it had nothing to do with my own emotions. Like it was just so full of despair that I was like, that is so sad that he believes that. And I think you 100% believe that. Like you had just been through so much heartache and it had like turned your world upside down that I think you just were like, I don't ever want to do that again.
How do you overcome a broken heart? What a great question. And the answer is, well, what does the world say and what's the Bible say? Let's make this uncomplicated. Okay. The world says time heals all wounds. But if you've ever had a wound, you know that time doesn't heal crap.
Right.
Time just makes you forget.
Right.
Time is not a healer.
Mm-hmm. The wounds are still there.
Yeah. No, there's only one person who heals,
right.
And that's the one who created your heart.
Yeah.
And something can happen to your heart, my friend, that's supernatural.
Yeah.
It's happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened to you.
100%.
When you discover God's love, when you know him and you know how much you're worth to him, when you know how valuable you are to him, you're so valuable to him that he would give his own son for you, man. He doesn't give up on you. He's for you. Man, he's for you even when you're against him.
Right.
Like he wants you to win and to thrive and to be healed.
100%.
And that wound will heal. And God has a way of healing wounds in a way where he even leaves you better than he found you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't give up, man. You will overcome that broken heart.
Yeah.
But you gotta know the healer. That'll happen. I would say guard your heart until it's healed up. Because you got a wound.
It's a lot of wisdom right there.
Yeah, because think about your heart. Think about like an open wound, right? How does a wound heal? Like, it
takes time to
it takes time to close up, right? And so let's say you're kind of healed and you get back out there and
gets poked again.
How often do I see somebody jump into a rebound relationship?
All the time.
It's like, dude, you just got out of this. You were dating that person for 2 years and now you guys broke up and you found this new person. Like, are you delusional?
Right.
Like, you are not healthy right now. You shouldn't be doing that. And what they don't realize is that they're just making it worse.
Yeah.
Making it worse. And like, it's like ripping a scab off before it's healed. Totally. It's going to leave a worse scar. So, I would say be smart, man. Don't jump into another relationship. And, and by the way, if you're out there and you're dating somebody and they just broke up with somebody, you need to guard your own heart and probably not date them. Right.
Give it some time.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe she's paying attention to me now. She didn't pay attention to me for all those years when she was in that other relationship. Yeah, she didn't pay attention to you because
she was in another relationship
and she wasn't into you then, and now suddenly she is. Why don't you just guard your heart for a second, bro?
Yeah.
So, go.
All right. Oh, I'm doing it. Okay. Interfaith marriage ? What
does that mean, interfaith marriage?
I think they're saying, which is actually a bigger question, because we're talking a little bit more about dating than we are about marriage, but I think they're saying if they're married to someone of a different faith background, different beliefs, different.
Look, when you marry somebody, the Bible says that God hates divorce, right? Jesus said that.
Right.
And people often think that divorce, what he means by that is like God hates divorce, like he hates you when you divorce. It's not necessarily what it means. It means he hates the idea of your heart being torn open.
Right.
Right. He says what God brings together, no man takes apart. Because there's, technically Jesus said if someone cheats on you, is unfaithful to you, then you can divorce them. But he throws that in there, but God hates divorce.
Yeah,
and like,
so
you don't want to
painful.
give up, if you don't have to. Like the best case scenario is forgiveness and wholeness. Right. And so, if you're married to somebody who's not of your faith, which happens a lot, maybe you got saved after you guys started dating, or maybe you started dating this person, you fell in love with them and you couldn't help it and you married him even though it was a Christian. Dude, read the book of Titus. There's some advice in there, but like at the end of the day, like, dude, you're in a covenant relationship with God. You promised him you would stay married to that person.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much advice I have for you other than just like pray for him. Because I'm telling you,
pray for them.
we've seen some miracles.
Yeah, we have.
We've seen some miracles. We've seen, man, my Jewish friends do not want to follow Jesus.
Right.
But I've seen some of my Jewish friends put their faith in Jesus as the Messiah.
As their partner, their spouse was praying for them.
Yeah. I have some of my friends that are like atheists, right? They're just like, there's no way they're going to believe. They're too scientific. Faith is just not an option for them. They need the the data, right? And I've seen even the most scientific people, right, put their faith in God when they're married. I've seen God do it, man. He does miracles.
I think a piece of advice or wisdom I would lend your way is nobody ever won anyone over to faith in an argument.
That's so good, babe.
So I'm sure it's a point of contention. Like, I don't know if you have kids or you're thinking of kids and you're thinking about like, well, I want my kids to go to my church, and your partner's like, well, I want them to go to my temple, or whatever the case may be. The conflict, it's the kindness of God that leads us to repentance. So just keep loving and serving your spouse and being Jesus in their home, and let them be attracted to that.
Nothing worse than a pushy Christian.
Yeah.
Pushy Christians are the worst.
You're not going to.
So maybe your husband's not into it. Just go to church. Just have some good friends. Just pray for him.
Mm-hmm.
I know it breaks your heart that he does not follow Jesus yet, but just, man, what else are you going to do? You're going to nag him about it?
Yeah.
You're going to try to bring him, make him go, oh, just promise me you'll go, or I'll just do this. You need to be careful with that, because that's not a good strategy.
Right.
Yeah. And then you were raising the kids, and it's really tough. Because one's saying one thing and one's saying another. So it's a challenging situation. My heart goes out to you. Nothing's impossible with God.
Amen.
Next question.
All right. If your partner falls away from the Lord, is it your job to bring them back?
Partner as in?
Partner, I'm guessing as a dating partner, since these were dating questions.
No, it's not. Next question.
Next question. Do guys like making the first move, or do they like when a girl does? And so this question is coming from a girl, obviously, because she's asking about guys. So you're a dude, so you answer that question.
Okay, so she's thinking of shooting her shot. That's what she's thinking about doing.
She's thinking about sliding
In the DMs.
Slide.
She wants to drop a hint or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would say, what do you got to lose? I would say, what do you got to lose?
And then I'd say you be you. There's all different personalities. And God's created you to be you. Some people are a little bit more outspoken. Some people are more introverted. Like, just be you. And,
in the Song of Solomon, which is a great book on relationships, the woman, it's a conversation between a man and a woman. And the woman is pretty assertive, and she speaks a lot to the guy,
Totally.
It's about a king marrying a princess or something like that, and it's like a really good kind of back and forth. And you just see it, it's like, it's maybe not, some traditions would say it's unladylike or whatever, but what do you got to lose? I mean, are you gonna mess up a friendship? Are you gonna mess up a group of friends? Are you gonna make it awkward? Like, just weigh it out. But at the end of the day, like, some guys just don't have the courage to talk to pretty girls.
Or sometimes they don't have a clue either, ladies. So there's that. there's
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
Get on his radar.
All right.
Why not? All right, next question. We're going through these fast.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
All right, here we go. Living together before marriage while not being sexually active. So the person asking this question saying, is it okay to live together if they're not having sex?
This is such a good question. I'm
Such a
so
good
glad that this is in the pile because I get this question all the time.
Yeah.
And I bet a lot of people want to know the answer on this.
Sure.
So the question is, we live together. Okay, let's make a fake
Scenario
here. Okay. We live in Los Angeles.
Yes, we do.
It's expensive.
Super expensive.
Cohabitating is very popular.
Yep.
So let's pretend that let's just imagine this is a guy and a girl, a Jane and a Joe.
Okay.
Tell me about Jane and Joe.
Jane and Joe are just trying to make it.
Yeah.
They, thought, hey, it's really expensive.
One's a musician, man.
One's a musician.
And he's got a dream in his heart.
There you go. Struggling artists.
Yeah.
Trying to make it. And Jane, is that her name?
Jane and Joe. And Jane's an actress.
Jane's an actress. And she's trying to make it, going on auditions every day.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to advance their career.
Yeah.
And love each other and follow God.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's not easy.
So they moved in together.
Yep.
And then they started, I don't know, coming to church.
Yep.
Then they started getting kind of convicted about it. They're like, man, I want to do things God's way.
Yeah.
And I do everything else God's way. Why is it so hard? And then finally Joe looks at her and he's like, you know what? Let's just take sex off the table and let's do it God's way. And we're gonna ask for forgiveness from God and we're gonna move forward His way.
Yeah.
But what do? They live together.
Yep.
Does Joe sleep on the couch? I mean, what do?
Do they have separate rooms? Do they have a 2-bedroom?
What happens? Tell me.
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Hey, let's ask Carlos if he can search for some stats for us real quick.
Okay.
What should he search?
What about something like, does cohabitating I don't know, if you live together before you're married, what's the percentage of people that actually get married or are you more likely to get divorced? Something like that.
Do a run for that, Carlos. Like, are you more susceptible to divorce from living together first? Or does that help you?
Well, I think this is a unique question because I think most times if you're living together before you're married, you're probably also sleeping together. Like that goes hand in hand, right? So I'm just putting it on the table because this question talks about not sleeping together if you're living together.
Okay.
And so I don't know if this couple that's asking this question, they have had sex before and they stopped to like honor God.
Well, yeah, they live together. What do you think?
Or are they thinking of moving in together and they're like,
Gotcha.
we're not going to have sex. We're just going to live together.
Yeah.
So there's two scenarios here. Which one which road are we going down?
Well, Carlos, what are you finding?
All
Say someone's like, you know what? Because the world says the next step after you're getting serious with somebody
is to move in together.
Right. And then the Bible's like, no, we don't. That's a bad idea.
Right.
Yeah. The Bible says
do not awaken love before it's time.
Yeah. And marriage is like something so sacred and protected.
Sacred.
You don't want to be
It's
dancing around that.
Right.
Yeah. So you don't want to pretend to be married before you're married. That's not a good idea. So what do you got, Carlos?
All right. So in this article by a researcher from the University of North Carolina,
Okay.
It indicates that researchers found that couples who cohabited before marriage had a 33% higher chance of divorcing
Wow.
than couples who moved in together after the wedding ceremony.
So living together increased their chances.
Of divorce by 33%.
Wow.
Wow.
Or it was 33% higher, yes.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I asked you that is because I heard that. I know that
Well,
on
and
some
think about
level.
it, 33% higher than everyone else that's just getting divorced. So
Which
that's
is
substantial.
what's the national divorce rate right now, Carlos? Do me a search.
I can check on that.
Out of 10 marriages, how many even make it? That's
Right.
what I want to know.
So moving in before you're married actually just ups that 33%.
yeah, let's say you only got a 50% chance anyways.
Right.
Now
You're
you're
at
really
83%.
sabotaging the biggest, most important decision of your life.
Yeah.
Dude, there is nothing worse than marrying somebody and having kids and going through a divorce. I mean, all my friends who are going through this, it's just heart-wrenching.
And it's the
My
worst.
parents separated when I was a kid.
Mhm.
It was traumatic for me.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, nothing's impossible with God. They got back together
Come on.
after 7 years. Like,
Yeah.
unreal, right? But at the end of the day, that's a traumatic memory that
Yeah.
I have. And I was like, I know that there is a reason why God hates divorce is because it's just he hates seeing our hearts being broken to pieces. So
Right. So much
you got some
pain.
stats for us, Carlos?
It looks like about 45% of
Marriages end in divorce?
yeah.
I think
nationally.
is that gone down? I wonder if that's gone down. I know that last year was a record. 2021.
COVID really.
Yeah.
That.
No. 2021 was one of the lowest years people got married. Less people are getting married now because of what this card says. They just live together, pretend to be married, and just try it out.
Yeah.
You know,
I actually have something on that for you. So it looks like marriage rate has gone down from 58% to 53%, and cohabiting has gone up from 3% to 7% over the past like 20 years.
Perfect. Thanks. There it is.
That makes sense.
So people asking this question is a great question. You're like, man, I want to, the world's telling me to take things to the next level.
Yeah.
And it makes sense financially.
Right.
Why don't we just live together and just not sleep together? And what do you think, babe?
I think that's a really nice thought that probably won't happen.
Yeah.
You're laying in bed next to the person that you're in love with. And
Yeah.
it feels like you're playing with fire.
Yeah.
Or if you're not there yet, you will be. Because
if you can lay in bed with your boyfriend and him not want to sleep with you, you need to be asking yourself some questions. All right, because there's no dude out there who's laying in bed like, oh, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. Just keep my hands off my beautiful girlfriend. It's like, looking for guys. I'm not trying to make fun of guys too much, but like we need boundaries because, dude, it's very hard to have self-control. It's very, very hard to have self-control in this area. It's borderline impossible. And living together, you're setting yourself up for failure. I told a guy one time, I was discipling him. He lived with his girlfriend. He got saved at my church. And I'm like, bro, you need to move out. Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm just going to sleep on the couch. I'm like, that's not going to work, dude.
You're not going to stay on the couch.
I'm like, you need to marry this girl, right? Or you need to move out. And you know what? The world hates when I say that. There's a popular show right now about like either get married or get out or something like that. And there's a few shows out there like this where they're putting pressure on people who've been dating for a long time to either get married or break up. And it's making people crazy because they're like, how dare you tell somebody how long they should be dating or not? Or why are you putting pressure on them to get married? What do you think about that premise?
I mean, I almost bend to the question like, how long is too long to date?
Okay.
Right? Like, I think our culture would say, like, you could date forever, move in, have a life, don't make a commitment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, like, if I don't know in the first few months if I'm going to marry this person, like, that's a waste of my time.
First few months.
It's a waste of my heart, my emotions, my time. So
we've sat down couples.
Yeah.
And been like, dude, you've been dating for a long time, you know? Like, you should know by now.
Right.
I remember when I was dating you and the Lord, I really had this sense that was like, I need to figure out if I'm going to take this step of faith or not, because I can't have so much time and attention and focus and driving back and forth and all this worship, and distraction. I don't want to look back on this a few years from now and be like, why'd I do that for 3 years? And maybe that's your thing. You're like, been dating a long time. I don't know if this person's the one or not. It's going to come down to faith. Right. It's the biggest decision you're ever going to make. I'm looking at this couple right now is living together. And they're just like, we're going to live together, but not sleep together. Why don't you just get married? Why don't you just take a step of faith? And if you really can't do that, my advice would be like, let's call it before it's too late. Let's just go ahead and just say, you know what? If we're willing to live together and not have sex, I don't think
how about
that's
this?
Rough.
We
dude.
were engaged to be married.
Yeah.
And we were not living together.
Yeah.
And you moved a friend into your bedroom.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
To make sure that we made it to the finish line of our wedding day. And it worked.
Oh my gosh.
But you remember the obnoxious
queen
size inflatable bed that he moved
this.
into your bedroom. And basically had a chaperone for the last 4 weeks of
I
our
needed
engagement.
it, dude. I wanted to put my hands on you, girl. What the heck?
So
you're attractive.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm trying to be a man of God over here.
And you did a great job.
I had my buddy who I was discipling who was going through a real life change. And I was like, you know what? Just move in with me. Sleep in my bedroom on an air mattress. And that changed our movie nights.
Yep.
Come over and watch a movie. Let's Netflix and chill.
3 of us.
And then Johnny's over here. Hey, that saved us, dude. That saved us.
It did. It was such wisdom. So anyway, all I'm saying is we were not living together and it was hard for us.
I want to honor God with my life.
Absolutely.
Don't you? Like, I want to do it his way. I don't want to cheap out, man. I don't want to live with someone and not sleep with them and like,
well, it's just a huge temptation. Yeah. You don't need to
go all in, man. Trust God, have faith. He's going to honor it, man.
It's good. Yeah. Okay. We're not going fire now. So maybe we got to get a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them. Just random. Here we go. Okay. How long is too long to date? We just talked about that.
All right. Next one. We are, why are guys inconsistent with communication on dating apps?
Well, this is a question coming from a female.
Why are guys bad at communicating?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, guys, men are men. They're not as communicative, generally speaking,
let's get away from the stereotypes here. There's some guys out there that can communicate.
Sweetheart, whoever's asking this question, I care about you. If he's inconsistent on communicating with a dating app, he may not be very interested, and I would run the other way.
Ooh,
because if he's not communicating and you're not even dating yet,
red
flag. So
she just truth bombs by Maria Coleman.
I know that sounds a little harsh.
If he's into you, you'll know.
If he's into you, he'll pursue you.
There you go. All right. Okay. Next one. That's heartbreaking.
I know.
All right. Is there such thing as the one? Ooh, we talked about that the last episode, didn't we?
Maybe a little bit.
What do you think? Someone's like, hey, I'm looking for my soulmate. What do you think?
I think you make the one the one. How about that? If you choose that person and you make a covenant and you're going to, that's going to be the person that is your one.
I like where you're going with this.
You made them the one.
Yeah, because there's nothing really in the Bible that says there's one person out there for you.
Right.
And if you think about it, that would have to mean the exact number of guys, an exact number of girls, exact same age. It would have to mean that nobody's, life is ending premature. It would have to mean that every decision that you made was perfect that led you to that person, and every decision they made that led you to that. And then it would put a lot of pressure on that other person to fulfill your expectations as a soulmate.
Right.
And the pressure should be on us to become the person
100%.
That we're looking for.
Yep.
Or the person we're looking for. So what was the question? Is there such thing as the one? I would say once you marry them, like you said, they are the one for sure. But you can decide up until that. I mean, God will make it clear.
Yeah.
Right? But I think like you're the one. I kind of feel like you're the one for me.
I feel that too. It sounds like cheesy and romantic.
I see how God guided us to come together, and it's absolutely, I think God's ordained way for. I think God brought us together for ministry and a purpose, and our kids, and absolutely, But maybe you're watching this and you're like, "Hey, I'm married to somebody, and I don't think they're the one. I married the wrong person." Right?
Yeah.
Maybe I should divorce this person
and go find the one.
And go find the one because they're clearly not the one.
Yeah.
Dude, you made a covenant with God. Yeah. You married them. They're the one.
Yeah.
To become
Let
one.
them become the
How do you get to one? Genesis chapter 2 or 3. 2. The two become one.
Right.
And it says become. It doesn't say became. It says become. It's an action verb. You are becoming more one with that person. Your intimacy is growing.
Yeah.
You're becoming more one. Don't give up on that thing if you're married. Don't give up. Give God some room there, because you're going to break up with that person to go find the one, and you just broke up with the person that.
I think I would say this too. I'm talking
about divorce.
Right. In dating, I only have my own experiences to guide what I'm going to say, but like I could not, like you said, we were like on borderline like worship territory. We were so into each other. Yeah. Like we were so madly like in love, and we still are. It's just matured.
It's because we were friends for so long, and then when we finally crossed the line to date, there was a lot of
like we were just crazy about each other. So if you're not like 100% into the person you're dating,
why?
Yes. Yeah. So
we've had why?
Like I felt when we were dating and we got engaged, like I did not want to live without you. Yeah. That was the feeling.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, hey, I'm not sure.
Dude, what was the divorce rate? In the 40%?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're nearing half of people that get married.
If you told me there's a 40% chance when I get in my car and drive home, I'm going to get in a car accident.
You might walk.
I'm taking the bus because that's too high.
Yeah.
I'm not going to gamble with those stats.
Right.
So, and the Christian divorce rate, Carlos can probably give us this. It's probably not any better.
Right.
It's probably not any better. Okay. Yeah. It should be better, but man. All right, here we go. Single mom with 3 kids who wants to date her. It's hard for a pimp out here.
Is that a real question?
That's a song, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's good. Hey, man, there's a lot of guys out there who, I hate to say this, but in their mind, they kind of go, I don't want to date a girl who has kids. And that's what she's saying. Gotcha. And that's what I would think. Let's just go ahead and imagine this is a lady, Maria. She has 3 kids from the same man. Let's say she was married and she has 3 kids from the same man. Maybe she's a widow. Maybe that guy was a total scumbag and she had to get out of that unhealthy relationship. Maybe, she's on the other side. Maybe her whole life's changed, but she has these 3 kids, and unfortunately there's some guys out there in their mind where they kind of disqualify that. But I'm telling you, dude, man, some of the greatest marriages I see today are young men who are saying, I will marry this woman and take the responsibility for this son. I have like 3 guys in my life that are friends right now that married single moms, and the relationships are beautiful, and the kid has this father figure, and it's just a wonderful thing. It's godly to marry a single mom. It's amazing to see what God would bring people together. And when the world said it was over and that no guy's going to want you, God's like, man, I got somebody for you. So don't give up. It's hard out here for a pimp. Don't give up.
And single moms, you're our heroes.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
Dude, and besides, like, I see it all the time. Like, I mean, don't let the lie of the enemy, don't believe this lie that you're less desirable or something like that, man.
Totally.
And you're desirable. You're desirable. I mean,
there's some guys out there that, you know what I mean? Maybe they're not baby guys, and so your kids are older and they're just excited to get to have kids and not go through that stage. I mean, I have friends that have said that and have married people, once their kids were older, and it was just so beautiful for the whole family to come together.
I got 3 guys in my life group, right? One's a police officer, one's a producer, one's and they married single moms, and it's all beautiful. It's awesome. And they just have this great family, and they're mature enough to do it. Go.
All right. Last 2 questions. How to stay married after one cheated?
Dang.
It's a heavy question. Why'd that to you?
How to stay married after one cheated. But you know what I love about this? The question is, can I get a divorce after I cheated? It's how can I stay married?
Yeah.
Hey, man, we have seen some miracles.
Yeah. Miracles on miracles.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people at our church that actually got divorced.
I know 2 couples.
2 different couples got divorced.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. That their stories, I'm sure, are different and unique. And then something, call it God, started like bringing them back together.
Yeah.
And they were still divorced, but they started going to church together. And
both of them started going to church together.
Yeah. Just started.
Hey, is anyone sitting in that seat? Oh, okay. Right. I'll sit there.
Kids involved, families involved, and went through a restoration process, went through marriage counseling, got married to each other.
Unreal.
Again. Like,
Unreal.
We've seen this multiple times. I know.
I officiated a wedding. It was so beautiful, of a man and wife who were divorced for 12 years and got back together. Can you believe it? And it's been years. They're still thriving. And that was like 5-6 years ago. And I've watched their kids grow up, and I've dedicated their kids at our church and baptized. And you're just seeing this family. And it's like, only God can do that.
Right.
Only God can do that. Because you know what happens is when you get divorced, or when you or when somebody cheats on you, it is almost impossible to not be bitter.
Yeah. To
ever trust. How are you going to trust someone again? How are you going to give someone your heart? They do that. I mean, what is more painful than having somebody cheat on you? Good God. To imagine being able to trust that person again like that. And I'm talking about a healthy way. I'm not talking about like a codependent. I'm not talking about like they didn't have options. I mean, these people were like fully separated and they came back, and that is only God. And so if there's one thing that God is an expert at more than anything, it's forgiveness. And he can help you. He can help you forgive. And if that's really what you want, how can I stay married after one cheated? We're going to pray for you right now. Whoever this is, let's pray for him right now. Will you do that?
Yeah.
Let's pray for him.
God, I pray for this person that's asked this question, that's experienced this pain and this betrayal. Lord, we know that you are a God that is above all. Yeah. And you're supernatural, and you can heal a broken heart. You can restore things that have been broken. You can put them back together and make a beautiful mosaic with broken pieces. And so we ask, if this is the prayer of the person that asked this question, that you would do that. You would do the miraculous. You would bring restoration and healing and a refreshing
Amen.
to this marriage in Jesus' name.
I will say this. I've never seen anybody get through this by themselves.
Oh, that's good.
I've never seen anybody try to stay married after a cheat.
Yeah.
And they're too ashamed to tell anybody about it, and they keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassing thing, right? You got to get a counselor. You got to you got to tell your group of friends, that you trust. We call them small groups, right? You got to tell your counselor. You don't tell everybody. You don't want to tell everybody, but you need a couple. You need a couple to confide in. You need someone to guide you.
Yeah. You need a process.
You need somebody to help you objectively look at the situation.
Right.
So it's not just you listening to your heart.
100%.
Because your heart can't be the only radar for you. You need some godly counsel. You need some wisdom. You need some other eyes on it. You can't just be like, well, I feel like I should forgive them, or I feel like I can trust them again. You need some godly counsel. I've never seen anybody get through something like this.
Just a little bit of advice too. I think sometimes we want our parents or our sister or our family member to be that person, and not that they can't be someone you can't confide in.
Right.
But when you're going through like something as deep and rough as this, like get an objective third party.
Yeah.
Because your family's always going to choose your side. They're always so you need sometimes you just need some godly counsel that's outside of your family unit. So anyway, I just thought
you run to your mom and you tell her everything about your husband and paint this picture of your husband and let her know.
They hate your husband and then you want to get back with them, or you're working things out, and then it just brings a lot of strife in the family.
So let me go back and kind of correct what I said. When I said you need your small group, you need a small group. Not your small group.
Yes.
Maybe not your group of all your friends.
You need a group of people around you.
2-3 people.
Yeah.
You need a pastor or a counselor, right? And you need a therapist.
Yeah.
You need to pay the money to do it. You need to go every week to a professional.
Prioritize it.
That is going to help you get down to the root of what's going on here so it doesn't happen again. And that's
100%.
it. Last question.
Last question. Do you wait on God or start shooting your shot?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I like the way you said it.
Shooting your shot. I'm thinking basketball.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Give me a fake scenario here.
Do you wait for the man or woman of your dreams to walk up to your doorstep and knock, and it's just like this
if you want to marry
God-ordained moment where you or
if you want to marry the postal worker,
are you talking to someone, approaching someone, asking someone out is I'm guessing what the question is.
That's hard because here's what it could be. It could be somebody who's like, this is probably not it, but like some people are naturally flirty, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, I don't want to be that guy who's,
right,
shooting my shot over here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy all the time, And maybe you kind of were that guy and you're like, you're kind of staying away from that now. Mm-hmm. So you have more of a healthy distance. You're kind of taking some of those gray areas out for people. Like,
sure.
Or maybe you're a girl.
Yeah.
And you want to talk to a guy and, it's like, dude, I want to talk to this guy, but is that ladylike, or is that,
right?
Is that,
I mean, I know this probably sounds so old fashioned and whatever.
Give us the old fashioned.
I mean, not old fashioned, because I'm all about like, if a girl wants to ask a guy out, go for it.
You're all about that?
I have no problem with that. That's not my, that's
not
my
you
style.
Liked me. I could tell you liked me.
But did I come up to you first? Did I ask you out first? No,
but
none of those things.
Would that be wrong?
No, but that's just not me. That's what I'm saying. So I'm totally down with it, but that's not necessarily like.
Gotcha.
And I think now I'd be totally different
I think you would be.
totally different than I was at like 21 years old. What was I going to say? Do you wait on God or do you shoot your shot? Oh, this is what I was going to say. I think if you just shoot your shot, but it doesn't have to feel like a shot, then you don't miss your shot. Does that make sense? Like if there's someone that, I wasn't married and I thought like, oh, I'm interested in this person, I think I'd get to know them.
Yeah.
So I would hang out in group settings. I would ask my friends, hey, let's all go to the movies. I want to, I'd want to spend time around that person without having to like maybe shoot that shot.
Well, the thing is when
sense?
We were dating, that was how everybody met. Everybody was like,
right.
we're all going to the movies. Well, hey, invite your friends so I can sit next to her. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
But now, how many people are dating through apps? So maybe shoot your shot means should I message them or not?
Right.
You know, what we got, Carlos? We got any dating apps stats? Let me know if you see anything on there, because that could be what it is. Do I DM this person on Instagram?
Right. I guess what does your shot look like?
Yeah.
And maybe the question.
I think a good answer is I think is faith, right? Sometimes it takes more faith to shoot the shot. Sometimes it takes more faith to just wait and see. And that's probably going to be your best thing. It's not the answer you're looking for, but.
Well, I don't even know what waiting on God would look like. Like, are you waiting to hear that God is saying this is the person? You know what I mean? Like,
that's probably
what does
that might not be a good strategy.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
So, if you're interested in someone, get to know them on a friendship level and ask God, like, find out about their character.
I say, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
That's it. Uncomplicated podcast. Dating.
Done.
Tell your friends.
Done.
Send this to a friend who needs it. Subscribe. Hit all the platforms up. And
we'll see you next week.